Well, Toby, it's great to have you here. And just a quick intro. Australian Rugby League professional player who plays prop lock for the Cronulla Sharks, was the former co-host on the new podcast, which was Stuck in the Middle with the best mate, Liam Knight. But we're going to get into that. 81 games for Cronulla Sharks. And, mate, for the short time I've known you, I just love having a chat to you. It feels like when I chat to you, like I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's you coming from Lexington Place.
Could be.
But I just feel like, you know, the synergy, like I grew up in Redfern, East Lakes, my early years. And from the first time I met you in the gym, I just felt like I'm just going to have a great conversation with this guy. And off camera, we're just having a good conversation about life in itself. But I want to start with, obviously, your background, you're German. And I was reading, you know, your goal as a young kid, as a 14-year-old, was to go play rugby in Germany. Would that be correct? Was that something that you were looking at going back to where your roots were?
It was a bit later than 14.
Yeah.
So I think I was 19 at the time.
Yeah.
And I was sort of going to go down another year of 20s. I just sort of joined the Rabbitohs 20s level halfway through the year before. And I was going into another pre-season. And an opportunity came up with the German international sevens team. So they were doing a tour of Australia, playing in like Noosa and playing in Byron Bay, all the big sevens comps. And my godfather, of all people, who lives in Ireland, even though he's German, reached out to them and like somehow sent them my stats or something to get me across the line. And they said they'd give me a trial. Went over, trialled with them, played in, where did I play? Coffs Harbour maybe. And I played a big tournament in the Central Coast for Germany. So I'm a German sevens representative, fun fact. And they were all keen to get me across, and I was keen to go, but then just sort of didn't work out. I wanted to see if I could make a career out of league, and I guess it worked out well in the end for me, I guess.
So you're 27. You're not a late bloomer, but
I'd say I'd be a late bloomer.
You're a late bloomer, yeah. You would say, look, usually guys are making it, you know, 19, 20,
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
and they're making it. What made you stick to the game, like when things weren't working quite out for you?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Footy was like always the forefront of my mind growing up as a kid, always like junior reps, playing through school. It was always just the thing I looked forward to most, always the thing I loved most, the thing I was so passionate about always as well. So I guess that was something to do with it, the fact that I still loved it, even though it wasn't going that well for me. On top of that, when I was at South, first grade, and got told that I wasn't going to get re-signed and I had to move on elsewhere, there was a part of me that was thinking, like, is this it now? Do I just sort of go and become a tradie, get the job and just forget about it because it doesn't seem to be working out? But I thought, nah, look, if you don't give it one last shot, because I didn't have the best year in 2017 when I was at South, if I don't give it my best shot the following year, I'll die wondering. And, you know, you can always go back and get a job whenever you want, but footy's a short window of opportunity. So I thought, you know what, go to Brisbane. This is your last shot. And I have a feeling that because I knew that was it, that I don't know if I pushed myself harder in games or if I pushed myself harder at training. I don't feel like I did, but things just started working. Things just started happening around me. And before I knew it, I was having a really good season and I got picked up by Cronulla. So 2018, I say to everyone, actually was the best year of my life, moving up to Brisbane and giving it a crack on my own back by myself. So, yeah, that was sort of a long-winded way to answer your question, but I hope hopefully you answered it properly.
No, I like that because a lot of the times what I see is people quit easy, right? And in your position, it's not that easy, especially as you get older. You know, it feels like, you know, time's not on your side anymore.
For sure.
Do you think going to Brisbane and being away from everyone and just being on your own was the catalyst for you moving forward? Because sometimes you almost have to remove yourself from where you're at because it's not working out. And you went to a different state. And a lot of the times if you remove yourself out of an environment, you have a better chance.
Yeah. I think I can't put it down to one thing, but that's got to be a big reason towards it. I remember like my brother was saying to me, oh, you're drinking too much on the weekends. This is in 2017 when I wasn't having the best year. Because socially I had the best year of my life. It was so much fun. I was hanging out with all these first grade footy players, was loving it, right? And, you know, South were a very social team. It was, you know, Sam Burgess there, George, GI, Sutton. And whenever Sam and Sutter would call for a piss up, if you didn't go, they're like, what are you doing, you know? Two very senior players calling for a piss up. So that was a lot of fun that year. My brother and my family would tell me, oh, you're partying too much. That's why footy isn't going well. And I didn't really fully agree with it, but I moved up to Brisbane and I partied just as much, if I'm being honest, if not more so. So that's that argument, they can shove it up their ass, to be honest. But I think definitely being by myself was huge. Moving out of home as well, because I was living at home with my mum before that. So yeah, being on my own 2 feet, having to work again, and you know, I didn't take the first grade year for granted at South, but having to go back to work was like, oh, more of a reality check. This is what's in store for you for the next 20 years if you don't get your act together. And then going up there, I was working up there, and the work, footy life, I was landscaping for my first month there, 40-degree heat, kind of like the day-to-day, carrying 40-kilo papers around a pool. That was awful. And then I was a door-to-door salesman, worst job I ever had in my life. I didn't even know that was the job I was applying for until it actually happened. And then before you know it, I was in an apron and in a HelloFresh apron, knocking on people's doors, asking them to buy HelloFresh. That was awful.
How long did you do that for?
1 month as well.
1 month.
I made $50 in 1 week, and I was like, this is not sustainable. It was a purely commission-based wage. And
What
then
was your opening line when you knocked on that door?
I'd knock on the door and say, I bet you weren't expecting a good-looking rooster in an apron at your front door. And that would either, you know, create conversation or create a slam in my face, one of the two. Then I was a truck driver for 6 months, and that was actually a mad job. No boss around. Could just go to Woolies as much as I wanted, just always go on food breaks and just cruise, so that was mad. And then footy finally just happened. I think my mum came to see me play round 2, and I told the coach round 1, after round 1, I was on the bench, and I said to him, look, mate, I didn't move up to Queensland to play off the bench. Either I'm going to start soon, you're going to give me a go at starting, or I'm moving back home kind of thing. I sort of said that because mum was coming up the following week. I didn't want to be on the bench when mum was there. It turned out, he gave me the start that I asked for. I knew mum was there. And it was round 2 against the Burleigh Bears. I was playing for Redcliffe Dolphins, and that was like, all right, mum's here, your family's here, you moved here for a reason, go out and show why you moved here. Played the best game I'd ever played. That sort of mentality carried on week to week to week, and then that got me the start. So I think it was, moving away, it meaning more, all those things that we just sort of spoke about, it all sort of culminated into a pretty good season for me.
So, you know, let's go to that. You obviously, your mum's a huge backbone to your career, right? Yeah. So, you know, she comes. Does she come to your games now? How does your mum? What kind of a fan is she of your career right now?
I get mum in trouble for being too proud sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be at Woolies and she'll just drop the fact that I play for the Sharks like out of nowhere. Does my head in. It's like, mum,
who does she want you to play for?
No. She just like, oh yeah, this is my son. He plays for Sharks. Like she'll just say it. It's like, mum, people are just trying to go to the shops. I don't have to tell everyone all the time. So like, I have told her that before, but she's the reason. She's the reason. Yeah. She's the reason why it happened. She's the reason why it still happens. People ask the reason why. That's probably her for me, you know.
Yeah.
So she was born legally blind, so she never has been able to drive. So any games, any Sunday games that were in the area I would walk to. She'd always be organising me lifts to training, to games, and making sure that I had I wouldn't miss out on anything. Yeah. So I think, it can't really be overstated how much of a role she played in my career and the person I am as well.
I want to ask you a question. Obviously, your mum's a big part. Was your dad around? Because what I'm looking at here, I'm looking at a fucking strong man here. And sometimes, like, I hear the reason I'm asking is because I haven't heard anything about your dad. But there's the reason. There's a lot of people say you need a man in your life, but you had a strong woman.
Yeah, I did.
How does this all work out? Like, you obviously your dad wasn't.
Not around, but it's not what you expect. So I'm a sperm donor baby. Yeah. So mum couldn't find a partner. Yeah. So I have one older brother. He was conceived the natural way. Yeah. Good on your mum. And then
is that aircon on?
Yeah, I'm so bored.
No, that's all right. Don't worry. Can you put it on more powerful?
Can you put it on maximum volume? Fuck. Jesus.
You know why it's heaps hot outside.
Yeah.
But I'm loving this conversation, bro. Anyway. You're fucking entertaining.
That sounds right.
That sounds
like it's going to heal me a bit.
This is going to come.
Yeah, it's going to come.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go back to
that. So sperm donor baby. So I asked mum why she wanted another one, and she couldn't find a partner. She just said one wasn't enough. One baby wasn't enough.
Yeah.
She wanted another one. What I actually think is that when she was applying to get into the houses, it looked better to have 2 kids in one. So she got straight up the list. But she denies that vehemently. So, no, she wanted one more. She had me. I came along. She had 3 rounds. I think in the 90s, there was like 3 free government IVFs or something like that. There was something like that. And the 3rd one on Mother's Day was the successful one was me.
Yeah.
She conceived on Mother's Day. So yeah, no real male figure in my life. My grandfather had a stroke before I was born.
Wow.
Probably like friends, dads along the way played a part, but I wasn't with them every day. They weren't shaping me, you know. So it was really just off mum's back. Mum was mum and dad. Till I was about probably 18. My brother at the time when I was 18 was 22, 23. We had a really bad relationship when we were younger, living in the same house. Brothers, you know, usually fight all the time. But then when I got a bit older and sort of realised what that situation, how that had created, I realised that I was just a bad snitch. I was a mama's boy. Whenever Josh wouldn't let me play Nintendo or whatever to do anything, I'd just cry out to mum. So he felt like it was me and mum against him the whole time, right? Yeah. And we've talked about this and we've talked it out. We've realised that that's why we didn't get on when we were younger. So he probably, as I got older, was definitely a consistent male role model in my life. But until he came along, it was really mum. Mum's best mate, Marty. I call him my uncle. He's a gay man. He did a lot to raise me as well. I would go on camping trips with him. And
So that's your mum's...
That's my mum's best mate, not a brother.
Okay,
yeah. They worked together at South Sydney. Mum's a teacher.
Yeah.
So it'd be probably those 3. It'd be mum, it'd be Marty, and Josh were the ones that... But there was never really one from the start. Yeah.
So let's go to that inclusivity round. You came out, and obviously you were like, you said, "What's all the fuss about?"
Yeah,
right?
essentially, yeah.
And you know, it makes sense. You know, your mum's best mate being gay. Obviously, for you, it's like, what's all the fuss about? Like Ian Roberts trains at this gym. I know Ian Roberts really well, and you know, why did you feel like you had to come out and be the spokesperson at that point for the inclusivity round? You know, do you kind of understand that from the player's standpoint why they stood down? Because if you think about it right now, right, it's been over 8 months. No one's even talking about it, right?
Was it? No, it was 2022, wasn't it?
No, it was last year.
Was it this year just gone? 23?
No. Wait a second. No, it was 2022.
Middle of 22. Yeah.
It's over a year. You're right.
Yeah.
It's over a year, but like no one's really talking about it now. Like
No,
it was a big fuss then.
Huge.
Then you came out and you said, "Hey, what's all the fuss about? You know, mum's best mate is gay. I grew up with heaps of gay people.
Yeah.
What's the problem?"
Yeah.
And how did you feel about that? Did you get any backlash from some of the players? What was it like?
Zero backlash, eh?
Yeah.
Zero.
I don't think there was anything wrong with it, but I'm just
no,
saying.
of course. Yeah, no, I know what you're getting at. No, there wasn't any backlash from anyone. And I even had some of because it was sort of the Pacific Island boys in the Manly team that was the forefront of it. And the same sort of crew, the Pacific Islander boys in my team, backed me to a T. They were like, we know what you're like, we know who you are. Like, you just speak your mind and you want everyone to be included, and we back that up. I'm pretty sure Ronaldo Mulatale pulled me aside and actually just gave me that speech, which was huge. You know, I wasn't sure how they'd feel about it, to be honest. But I wasn't sure if it wasn't a conscious decision, I need to speak out against this. I think it was just a case of good journalism. The journo asked me some questions about what I thought, probably knowing that I was going to speak my mind. And I just came out and said what I said. Can't remember what I said. I said I kiss blokes, which I do. If you want one, come here.
Wait a second. Let me ask you a question. Is it on the lips or the cheek?
No, mate. Full tongueies. Just go. All day.
That's why Tim loves hanging out with you.
He does. Exactly right. Yeah.
That is a Tim.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I was with Jimmy earlier, and he said he's try something. Fuck, I forget what he said. He goes, "Mate, I was giving him lifts." Like, did he put it on you? I start laughing.
He put it on me.
Did he? Jimmy's like that. He's funny.
Yeah.
He's so easy going.
So easy
going.
Mate, Jimmy, what a man.
He swings anyway.
He swings both ways.
Yeah, so you know, you come out, you say that the perception isn't that big. The media probably made it worse than it is, right?
Yeah, for sure. For
You
sure.
know?
I think they just pick up on the story, and anything that'll sell a story, anything that'll differ from the norm, they just think their teeth into it.
Yeah.
And that'll sell papers. So
Yeah. So what is second? Do you like men more or women more?
No, I'm not gay at all.
Yeah.
I just said that as a J-up pretty much. Like, don't get me wrong, I do kiss blokes when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
I just sort of said that just so I'd,
So they can get off your back?
yeah, just so, why did I say it? Let me try and think, because there's a reason. I think I just said it, honestly, to start a conversation about it, or to be different from the norm.
Yeah.
But, like, it was also the truth. Like, when I'm blind drunk and I'm with my mates, I'm just getting fucking, I'm hooking them in here and I'm just going, it's just that I don't know why. I don't know if it's an explosion of like self-love to them. I don't know what it is, but I identify as heterosexual. I wish I was gay, or I wish I was bi. I wish I was bi, because then you can have the you know what?
So you're saying that was the risque stuff?
Oh yeah, and I'm sure there was other stuff in there along the way that I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it was, I think, as well, Josh Dugan and Andrew Freda a couple of years back, 3 or 4 years back, maybe now, they were swearing on a podcast and were talking shit about Buzz Rothfield and stuff,
Yeah.
and then the Sharks got their sponsorship pulled.
Yeah.
Selwyn Cobbo the other day, not the other day, it was about a year ago now, he criticised Kevin Malta's coaching ability on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I can see where Gus Gould is coming from. I really can, you know. But I'm just waiting for Liam to sign that multi-year deal so we can get started and just shove it in his face. He needs to sign a 2-year deal, Liam, and we can get it going again.
Yeah.
So hopefully he plays well enough.
Yeah, look, it's, and we were talking about it off camera before, like, it's contentious, like, showing absolutely everything you do, because, like, you're a professional athlete. You know how to go from being 100 miles here to going back in this direction at 100 miles. But some people, what they do is with their disciplines, once they go down the wrong track, they'll stay there for so long. Whereas you look like, to me, you know how to transition. I know I'm training now. This is what I've got to do. I'm going for a contract. This is how I've got to train. This is what I've got to do. This is the expectation of the team. This is what I must do. And I think what happens, you know, you guys being in the media, like even me, you know, I love to go out. I love to have a drink. But I can't show all that because I think a lot of people take it out of context.
100%.
So I try and be as careful as I possibly can. But I like having fun. I like talking shit. You know what I mean? I think one thing we miss as males, and I think, you know, we can talk about sort of the woke community of what you can say and what you can't do and what you how you can dress and all that kind of stuff. But I find that, you know, as I've gotten older, I've become more disciplined. You know, I think I've got much more self-control over myself and more self-belief, you know, as I got older. Because, you know, I didn't grow up in the best places. It wasn't the best environments. And as you get older, like I'm 47, I'm 20 years older than you. You know, a lot of things change, but there's certain things that don't change. And this is what I mean by that. There's things like we still got that kid in us. We still got that boy. We still want to be with other men and fucking have a laugh. And I think we haven't found the balance. We haven't found the balance as a society, as a community, because everyone takes everything out of context a lot more, a lot further. You say one thing wrong and everyone goes, "Why did you say that for?"
Yeah,
when you can get on the phone and say, "Man, I was just mucking around, man.
Yeah.
Chill out."
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I don't know what happened. I don't know. Like, I fully agree with everything you're saying, right? But I don't understand how people at one stage or another started to look for things to be upset about. Started to look for things to what's the word I'm looking for?
Criticize.
No, be offended.
Offended, yeah.
Be offended by, like, if it offends you, then I'm sorry for what I said. But, like, you don't need to kick up a fuss to again put a storm in a teacup. It's like, you might not agree with everything that everyone says, but what's the point in actually just, you know, stopping what you're doing, taking energy out of your day, and putting shit on someone for a slip up or for something they were clearly trying to be humorous with or anything. I don't know what changed. I don't know if it's a phone thing and everyone has too much access to information now and what everyone's saying all the time. There's that whole woke culture you said before as well. It's more of a wank culture, I reckon.
It's a wank culture.
It's a wank culture.
It is.
Look, I think way I'll sum it up is I think I was born a bit too late. I would love to have been born
back in 20 years ago. 20, yeah, about my age.
You know, like before phones were around, before everything was filmed and everything was scrutinised, before all this shit seemed to just start heaping on us, you know, social media and all this stuff. Like, I would have loved to have been my mum's age and sort of, she was 18 in 1980, I think. That would have been mad. That would have been.
How old's your mum?
She was born in 63. She's turned 60 this year.
Fuck, I don't know. She's older than me.
Yeah.
She's closer to my brother's age.
Yeah.
Look, I would talk to my brothers. My brothers are like 10 years older than me.
Okay.
And they said the 80s was the best.
I could only imagine. But then on top of that, probably the 60s was better. Woodstock.
Well, 100%. 100%. We keep going back.
Yeah.
Well, there was less restrictions. There was
freedom.
Look, you know what it is? I think we're totally over-regulated.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Controlled.
Like back in our days, we used to go out, you know, in the cross, you know, used to go to the casino. Honestly, there was Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night.
Yeah.
The only night you had off was Monday.
Which you needed probably.
And it was in every suburb.
Yeah.
Cronulla, Hurstville, like everywhere. And I think everything's been over-regulated, and we have to be careful with every word we say. Everything gets taken out of context. And what you said before, I totally agree with. We don't have to agree on everything. You could have your view, I could have my view. But does it mean we have to fucking hate each other?
No. Or you have to put up some sort of story online or a post.
100%. Like if I look at you, I'll go, what do I like about Toby? I like his discipline. I like how hard he works. I like his sense of humour. There's more things I like about you. And if I disagree on one thing, that doesn't mean anything.
Who cares?
Who cares? If I like 95% of him, I go, who gives a fuck about the 5%? And I think this is where we're going wrong in society, is we look at the smallest thing to nitpick on, and we just pick on that rather than looking at the big picture.
Yeah. Well, I think what's always said is the 1% of the wrong side of the media gets as much airtime as the 99%, right? So I feel like that's come into play as well. You know, you have crazy people spurting crazy stories, but they sell papers, they sell stories, they sell ads. So when you get this sort of media conglomerate just spurting shit out at you, it's going to turn society wild, I reckon. I think we're getting a bit deep here in society and everything, but fuck.
You know what's funny? Like, if I see something that I go, fuck, that's pretty risky, that person putting out, I don't put a comment going, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Like, I go, fuck. Just let it be.
100%.
I mean, I don't know how people can waste time making comments on things that are irrelevant about them. It's got nothing to do with them. The individual said something and you're just jumping on it for no reason. And where I want to go with this is here, right? When you're playing the game, you just signed, I think, a 2-year extension with the Cronulla Sharks. What's the pressure like on how you need to perform leading up to a contract like that?
I honestly, this is no way to lie, to date, haven't really thought about when my contract's up or how I need to play, or I've probably think about it earlier in the year when origin selection is a bit more on. I'm thinking I need to get some carries up, but contracts and stuff I've never ever played into my mind with rugby league, honestly. It's just every time I play, I want to go as hard as I possibly can. I want to step it up. I want to always be better. Obviously, not every time, not every game is like that. You're going to have a bad game here and there. But in terms of like when contracts are coming up, that's never really been a motivation, if I'm being honest. It's just always been, I want to win. I want my team to win. I want to be the best they can be. And that's always just led my focus since I was however old I was, taking footy seriously.
Cronulla last year, they probably didn't live up to, the hype from the year before, because you've done really well the year before. What do you think went wrong in that season? I mean, you guys had a pretty formidable team, but you probably didn't have the big game breakers, right? The year before, you played unbelievably as a team. What are some of the things that happen for a team to sort of struggle?
All good. This is like a really tough question. I should get asked a little bit about Cronulla because you're right. In the last 2 years, for lack of a better word, we've choked. We've been, I think we're safe to say, almost with the chokers of the league right now. And the only thing that I can really put that down to is probably self-belief, and the lack thereof for us. I think at times I go into a game and I'm guilty of it too. I'm just thinking, we're versing Penrith this week. It's going to be hard. Nathan Cleary, Luai's left foot. We're versing Roosters this week. We've lost them last year. Can we get it back in? Can we get it back? So I genuinely think that our self-belief needs to change. That's where our driving force can come from. I've spoken to a few players and a few coaching staff about this as well. They got some things in place, but I agree the last 2 years haven't been what we've wanted them to be. But it takes a year or a game where you should have won and you didn't to sometimes turn people's minds around. And I think that Roosters game when, we versed them in the finals, they were the worst team to make the finals ever. They shouldn't have been there. They only made it around the last few weeks. We're at home against them. We beat them during the year. They got everyone out and we lose by a point. And we shouldn't have. And I think that's sort of stuck in a lot of guys' minds around the Sharks. And I think this preseason is going to be crucial for how we attack this following year. I'm really looking forward to what we can do and just add that self-belief, because I do genuinely think that we have the team, and we've proven we have the team. We've beaten just about everyone there is to beat. Now it's just down to us looking across, and this might be a bit of a cliche, but looking across to the guy next to you and just knowing that I wouldn't want to play with anyone else. I'm happy with him here. You know, I can rely on this guy. He can rely on me. You know, I'm not a coach. I can't say any more definitively, you know, the ins and outs, details. Defense is definitely going to be better. But yeah, I know we have the team to do it. We've also had a team that's played together since Harold Matts, SG Ball. There's about 5 or 6 or 7 core guys that have stayed together. I mean, we've had like 8 or 9 Newtown Jets comp winners from 2019 still playing in the same team.
Wow.
So that's what Penrith has built a lot of their success on, just having that same core group, and I think we got that too. But it's just whether we can have that belief and whether we can execute it.
Is that intensity there now in pre-season going into the new season? Is it there? Can you feel something different from the year before?
Oh, it's hard for me to say. I'm not training with the boys at the moment. I've got a moon boot on here. Everyone
Yes.
warm. So it's, from what I'm seeing, it looks awful. It looks so hard.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's pre-season's hard.
It's hard. And that's one thing. When I was younger, I'd be like, oh, pre-season again, like, this is going to suck. But I'm a bit older now, and it's going to be hard, but it's also just necessary, and it's also going to be over before we know it.
Yeah.
There's definitely, I know the coaches have actually changed their style up a little bit, increasing, sort of playing to our strength a little bit more. So who knows? Wade Graham once told me that, and this doesn't apply to us at all, but he told me that every single team in pre-season thinks they're killing it. One of those teams is getting the spoon.
Yeah. That's a good one, actually.
Yeah, Wade Graham told me that one, the wise man, and then he's not wrong.
Because obviously he was there during the grand final, so he knows what the highs are like. He knows.
Yeah, you know what I've heard from everyone in that team? Everyone said the reason that we won, every time someone would go for coffee, the whole team would go.
Wow.
They felt like they would miss out if someone went for coffee and someone didn't, and then there wouldn't be 10 boys joining them.
Wow.
So I'm trying to get coffee crews going in our team to try and get that going. I heard that, and it's so simple and it's so true.
It is.
If you want to hang out with the guys that you're working with constantly and you want to build that bond, build that connection, that's got to be the secret sauce.
Yeah.
I honestly reckon.
Yeah.
That's why I moved to Cronulla as well. So I only moved there 5 months ago. I was living in Maroubra, just happy hanging out with my brother and my family and my friends out here. But I realised, you know what, if I actually want to build that connection with this team, then I got to put myself in their area, and I got to see them on a day-to-day basis and actually want to hang out with them.
It's funny you're talking about that because, you know, you were getting lifts with Jimmy Dimmick.
I was.
To training, and I had Jimmy here a few weeks ago, and we were talking about the year the Bulldogs won the grand final.
03 or 04?
No, 95, 95. We were talking about the year they won. They weren't doing that well. There was a Super League war.
Yep.
And there was factions in the team, and then someone brought the team together. They said, listen, this is it. If we don't fucking stick together right now, this isn't going to work. Yeah. And they just bonded like that.
Yeah.
And it shows when a team comes together, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's rugby league, sports, you know, your mate you're doing your podcast with. It's on those toughest days that it matters. On the days where you go, fuck, we just lost the game. But are we fucking still having coffee?
Yeah, you're right. You are 100% correct. Couldn't have put it any better.
Yeah.
You're right. It's the day. I just saw this thing about Michael Phelps, and he said that there was a 5-year period where he didn't miss one day of training. 365 days a year, he was in the water every single day. And he said, of course, there was days I didn't want to do it, but it's those days when you decide what you're going to do, they're the days that move you forward. And that's kind of sort of what you're saying as well. The days when you might want to go home and just sit in your 4 walls and watch TV, you know, go reach out to him, mate, go see what he's up to, go try and build some connection somewhere. The thing that the teams in the 90s had to their advantage was no phones. And alcohol was just
massive.
Water. It was sweet as,
Yeah, they said it was like guzzling it down like water.
Yeah.
So it was completely different because that brought the camaraderie even closer.
And don't get me wrong.
So they instead of going for coffee, they were having beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, coffee wasn't even around.
No. Instant coffee back then.
Yeah, instant coffee.
You know, no one's going for instant coffees back then. But that still is a big part.
Yeah.
Now we just have to be more careful about where, when, how, who's around, location. So we got, like, myself and a few of the older boys have some things in place as to when we can break it out.
Yeah.
We got a camp in January. I won't say what date or what location in case Danny Wilder's watching, but
Yeah.
he's a good bloke actually. But we have some things planned. So like that's still a massive
I
way.
think people don't understand just how important it is.
They don't, eh?
Look, man,
it might sound so stupid, but it's so.
But I was just in Vegas with my brothers and my nephews, and we had drinks together and we're having cigars together.
Yeah.
It was, and I've never been away with my brothers who were 10 years old, and me and my nephews.
Yeah.
And mate, it was just fucking the best time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we didn't go overboard, but it was just good. You know, and in sport, it's fucking important,
It is. I mean, you know, as
especially
well.
in team sport.
Well, you train so hard together. That's one way to build connection. You know as well.
Yeah.
When you train and you go to war with someone, that connection's there.
Yeah.
On top of that, you put sort of the want and the desire to actually hang out with each other, have your beers together, and you know take the piss out of each other and chew the fat. And that just makes the bond even stronger. That makes, if you see someone, this is a very literal example, you see someone burst through the line and he's your mate and you're on the piss with him the last 2 weekends, they're taking the piss out of me all the time, I'm going to get there for him, you know. It can be, I'm getting a bit animated talking about it because it sort of hypes me up a bit, you know. But
No, it's good, but that's what you want, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's what it does. Like,
It is,
you know what's funny? This is what I love doing podcasts, because like it makes me think of the things I need to do, even with my team, even when I'm not feeling my best. Like today was a busy day, but it was all over the shop. Like, you know, there's so many moving parts to what we do. And then I just kept thinking about you. I'm just reading about you, but then I know your personality. And then when you're in those moments, you're forgetting about the team, their feelings. And then if we're not having the best day, how can we bring that day up? What do we have to do? Do we have to go have a coffee? Do we have to have a quick chat? You know, we might not be winning the first half, but we can certainly win the second half.
Correct.
You know, and I think that's what, you know, having those coffees, going for those, you know, moments where you're having a drink, where you're going, hey, fuck, man, we had a tough session this week. It was a struggle, but fuck, we got through it. How are you feeling? And I think that's what's missing in society as a collective, but obviously in sport, especially with the media. With the media, how do the other players handle it? You know, like I know what you're like, but how do the other players, are they jumping on board? And do you think you're doing this more now because now you're 27, you're more of a senior player, and you feel like you need to own this?
Yeah, I think these last few months, I had a pretty big off season and got my toe injury coming on, and 27, 28 next year, just signed an extension. I think personally, I'm sort of thinking I haven't got many years left really. This has been my 5th season coming into 24. I didn't take the piss the last 4 seasons, but I definitely could have worked harder. I definitely could have not drunk as much. I definitely could have caught up for coverage with the team more because I was living in Maroubra. I could have done so many things differently. And the good thing is I've realised that now with years to go still. So this year I'm planning on no drinking minus those team bonding sessions because I love it and because I want to get to know my team better. I'll be honest, on this podcast I've been vaping quite a lot as well, and I'm getting rid of that in the new year. One of the hardest things in the world to quit. It's fucking insane. It's
so big, isn't it now?
It's just everywhere. Like, I mean, if you want to, back in the day, I was never a cigarette smoker. I found it gross. You had to go outside, it would just stink. But now you just, can I have a blueberry? Can I have a strawberry? Mate, it's awful. So I think this year the reason I'm doing it is because I owe it to my team. My team hasn't had the best version of me yet, and they deserve it. To myself, for sure as well. The other question, how do the boys handle the media pressure? Was that the other part of the question?
Yeah.
Nico is probably the best one to speak on about that because he gets the most. I wouldn't want to live in that man's head, to be honest. He has a lot of head noise, that guy. How he handles it in his stride, he honestly does. He speaks well and he knows how to handle himself. He knows how to talk to media. He knows what he's doing. But in terms of the other boys, there's not a whole lot of media attention on our team. I think, you know, unless you're a Penrith or a South or one of those sort of bigger clubs, but that's just fine. We can handle that. We've sort of been the underdogs since I've been there anyway. But yeah, the boys, they're pretty good with it all. I mean, a few of them do read the comments, and I always tell them, what are you doing? Don't like after a game, they have bad performance, good performance, read the comments. Well, that's just not going to be good for you. So That's sort of one area they can improve. But we're a pretty good bunch.
Yeah.
Man. We're pretty laid back.
Obviously, you're getting, you're 27. You signed a 2-year extension. Do you see yourself going overseas and playing overseas? So someone like England, where a lot of players go at the end of their career.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I could be 30 years old and I could be Corey Parker. I could be killing it, getting better with age.
Yeah.
Or I could be 30 and I could be, who's going to talk some shit about? Aaron Woods.
Wasn't he just in Vegas?
He was just in Vegas promoting the game, doing a good job of it too.
Didn't he get a contract where it's just like you get paid for each game just to get to
did
Vegas?
he? I'm not surprised. Oh, probably, yeah. Probably. That sounds like Woodsy, man. It sounds like Woodsy, to be honest. I don't know. I have to wait and see.
How did he become the face of the Manly side over there? That's unbelievable.
Well, he's head of best talker for sure in the club, yeah. Have you met him before?
Mate, he seems like a guy to get along with. Honestly,
everyone does.
Honestly.
Everyone does.
I'm
man.
just like saying it, but it seems like a guy. But I think he's getting match payments, and then he's over there. He's going to be over there twice. He's probably telling the players how good it was.
Yeah. Most likely. I think because he's like sort of Triple M now as well. He's just and he was obviously one of the best front rowers in the game for quite some time. Yeah.
So you don't want to be an Aaron Wood?
I'd rather not. I'd rather be a Corey Parker, to be honest.
Corey Parker, a bit of grey hair instead of the
Silver Fox.
Silver Fox, yeah.
If I can keep my hair, that is. But look, open to any option. I mean, if by the time I'm 30 and the Sharks don't want me anymore, I couldn't really see myself playing for anyone else. Whether it's union or it's league, I could go back to my roots playing union. It's a much easier game on the body as well than league, so that's definitely on the cards at some point. I don't know how I'd go as a 31-year-old former league head, having to learn the game again after that'd be 13 years out of the game.
What position were you playing in rugby?
I finished as a loose head prop because I had no second rowers in my school. I had no front rowers in my school. I had an abundance of second rowers. Yeah. But if I went back, I'd be in the back row, 6, 7 or 8. Can't pass or catch, so 6, 7 or 8's my go, I reckon.
Is it too late to learn how to do that?
Yeah, you know what? Every pre-season, I'll go, this is it. I'm going to be a ball-playing front rower. This is the year. Hasn't happened yet. Yeah. Maybe next year. Yeah. I don't know. Wait and see.
Maybe you'll get better with age.
Maybe I will.
So, do you think you'll move into some sort of media when you finish your career? What do you think you're going to do when you finish your career? Because it seems like you're very talented in that area. I'm not going to lie.
I've given it zero thought, if I'm being perfectly honest, man. So. The $1 million question: what to do after footy? Because you got to do something.
The reason I say that is because you're actually good at debating. Yeah. If you don't agree with something. Yeah. As well. Yeah. And I think that's important as being a journalist. You can speak the truth, right? And probably break away from the ones that are going for the story that means nothing. You know what I mean? And I think you got talent there. And the good thing about what you've done in rugby league, it's a brutal sport. It's taxing on the body. And you deserve all the opportunities you get. Like if I look at players and rugby league players and what they put themselves through and, how their body has to hold up post their career, they deserve everything that comes to them. I mean, have you given it much thought about what you want to do when you finish your career?
Not as it, like there are times across a year when I'm sad or depressed, not playing that good or something, and I just start losing my mind going, what the fuck am I going to do when footy's over? Because, footy has always been, I won't say it's who I am because I'm definitely more than just a footy player, but it's always been a massive part of my life. It's always been the key focus of my life. Ken McGuinness says a really nice quote, something like that, this is his life's work, rugby league. Like, he might do some job to fill in time after footy's done, but this is his life's work. This is what he's put his whole life into. You might not get another job that's as satisfying. You probably won't, and you got to accept that. The things that I'm putting in place for myself, I've got a bit of stuff going on in Bali. So my plan right now, honestly, is to put myself up in one of my villas over there and just surf until I can figure out what it is next that I want to do. If I make enough and make some good investments, I'm honestly happy being a lifeguard 3 days a week as long as I got money coming in investments. Like, I don't have so much grand designs for an amazing life where I'm a billionaire. And like, if I have enough money to get by and, to have enough money for groceries and a beer here and there and a holiday, man, that's all I want in life. That's all I want out of life. I want to be happy. I want to be rich and where it counts, and I don't really care that much about money. Don't get me wrong, it's really nice being paid really well now while I'm playing and I'm living out my life's ambition. But it's not everything. So as a media job, when footy's over, that'd be great. That'd be unreal. But it's something that I can't exactly rely on. You know, I'd have to go and get it, and I'd have to chase down opportunities with Fox or Nine, and that could definitely be an avenue if they have me. I would, as you said, I have a bit of a knack for it. I could definitely learn how to talk slower and pick up some things a bit better and learn the trade a bit more.
I think you could be better than Aaron Woods.
Nah, I'm honest. I'll tell you, Woodsy he is one of the best.
No, he's good.
He's unreal, man.
I've listened to him. He's very good.
He knows how to keep a conversation going. Yeah. He's honestly like a wordsmith. He's unreal, man. So, but look, that's definitely an opportunity. I don't see myself as a coach or anything because I don't know what's going on in the game now and I'm playing it. So that's sort of out of the question.
But it's different, right? Like, look, coaching to playing is quite different because there's so many moving parts in a club.
Yeah.
You know, there's the sponsors, there's the board, there's the media, there's the different player relationships, there's the coaching staff. Then you're looking at behind your back, who's backstabbing you to take your job. Mate, I don't know who would want to be a rugby league coach, to be perfectly honest. But again, it's probably one of those things they're passionate about, and it's like playing the game, right? You're happy to get the bruises and get smashed because you just love it. I think the coaches are the same. They're just mentally, there's something wrong with them that they love that pressure.
Mate, it's so funny. Craig Fitzgibbon, my coach, has said word for word what you just said pretty much. Doesn't know why he does it, but he just keeps coming back.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. One of our website guy came and he does a lot of work for us. He's in Queensland, and he goes, "Mate, I didn't think the operation was this big." Yeah, right. He goes, "Now I understand the enormity of the job." And I was training this morning, and there was 5 things that went wrong. You know, we had a couple of things down, and I got to him straight away. You know, and the boys came. I said, "Mate, I've just dealt with 5 things right now. Now we're all having a workout, and now I've got to do that plus more. Plus I've got more meetings, and I've got a podcast." And people don't realise, like, you know, just how much work goes into it, and it's not for everyone. And sometimes we do question why the fuck we're doing it for.
Always, of course.
Like there'd be days where I'm like, "Why am I doing it for?" And then I'm going, "Wait a second, what was the goal? What was the vision?" I just hold on to the vision. I always say to people, hold on to the vision because you're going to have days where it sucks. And you might have 2 weeks of that and 3 weeks of that, and then you're questioning yourself more and more. But just if you hold on to where you're going, even if you don't get there the way you thought you were going to get there, you'll probably get there and go, how the fuck did that happen? You know, and essentially it happens all the time. And when you're with Craig and you had that conversation, how did that start up? How did that conversation start up?
I'm pretty sure I'd fucked up and he was like, "Why do I do this? Why am I coaching her?" Someone like, I think it was along those lines, a few fuck ups in a week from a few players. I think, Fitzy, God, you know what? I love playing for him, eh? He, I don't know how that conversation sparked up because honestly we speak about anything and everything. Sometimes I just go in his office and just spin a yarn because he's got some good things to say, or I want to get some on my mind, off my mind. Sorry. I think that's a really good quality in a coach. If you want to go and just have a chat with him, because he's such a good bloke and he can just sort of, you know, add another perspective, or he can tell you where you're going wrong, where you're going right, where the team's going, what direction, what he thinks that we need to do. And so I don't know how the conversation sparked up, but I'm glad it did. And I'm pretty glad he's my coach too, man. Have you met Craig before, Fitzy?
I haven't met him, but like just watching him, he seems like he's the type of guy that the players can go to because, I mean, he was an assistant coach at the Roosters for a while. Yeah, and he went straight into coaching after playing. Has he told you how the different roles were, being an assistant coach to a coach?
I never asked him that, I probably should have, I know that the paycheck's one way.
Paychecks. I think he got a good one. I think a few clubs were after him.
Yeah, no, well, he's
laughing now.
Yeah, fucking he is, yeah. What you said, like assistant coach is probably the best job ever because you put in all your ideas, you put in all your work, and then it's the head coach who takes all the brunt of the blame. But if you're a head coach, obviously the paycheck's better, but the pressure's greater. You have to perform where you're sacked, literally. You got a lot more areas to look after, what you said before, media, sponsors, corporate, this, that. So it is.
Who's the assistant coach there now?
We've got 3. We've got Daniel Holsworth,
Yeah.
who won a comp with the Bulldogs in
Yeah.
04. We got Steve Price,
Yeah.
the player, the coach from the Dragons. And we got Josh Hannay from the Cowboys.
How was Jimmy when he was there?
So
What was he like?
He's the best. I miss having him around.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was an assistant coach when I first was there. So we're at the Coogee Pav, and have you seen him dance?
Oh, yeah, fucking hell. He pulls them off, eh?
Yeah. So
He's a big man and he pulls off some good
that
moves.
can move. Yeah. So I'm just seeing him. I think I started dancing with him, and then he starts dancing with me, and he just starts busting. I started filming him, and I put it in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like a helper. I didn't know he was like the assistant coach. So then they got it up in the meeting. One of the mornings, it was like, all right, guys, let's make sure we're all out there training our hardest, and let's all try and move like this, and put up the video that I filmed. And I was like, oh fuck, I didn't know that he was an assistant coach, and this was going to be a big deal. But he was unreal. Like the boy, he was just, you know what he's like, knockabout, laid back, funny as, but he also knew what he was talking about too. And I'm also pretty sure he's the world's strongest man. So
he's pretty strong.
man,
He's very strong.
Yeah, he's next level strong.
And he's had a lot of injuries and he's still very strong. What was his insight like in the game? Because he's pretty smart. He sees the game. Like you wouldn't expect Jimmy to see it that way, the way he is, like a larrikin, fun, pulling off dance moves.
Yeah, no, well, he was like one of the first revolutionary ball playing locks of the modern era, you know. So I'm not surprised he knows the game so well. I didn't really get to see a lot of his take because the year he was there was my ACL year.
Okay.
So I spent 7 out of 9 months doing rehab for the actual season. I only played about 7 games for reserve grade, and Jimmy wasn't too much a part of that. But his input was, for me, in the person he was. It was that year. I'm pretty sure we didn't do too well. I know we made the first round of finals, but he was always, you know, a happy-go-lucky. Just, you know, would lift the playing group so easily with a little quick whim or a little word. And for me, that's what I remember of him, was just him being a positive, you know, force within the club, which is definitely credit to him.
In the car while you were driving to training, you said, you know, you're like a little kid listening to the stories. What were some of those stories that were impactful on your like career, or what did you love listening to, or what did you enjoy the most?
Definitely can't tell one single story on this podcast. Absolutely not. Yeah. I'll tell you after.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good one. That's a good one. We'll leave that one at that.
Yeah.
Andrew Abdo, you know, gave you an official warning.
Yeah.
You know, for some of your comments. What does that look like? Who in the club comes up to you and says, "Hey, listen, you know, if you step over the line here, we're in a bit of trouble."
No, it was our head of media was the guy that I went to training the next day after we'd won. That was round 1, 2020. Oh, it might have been 21, so it was a few years ago now. And then I come to training the next day for recovery or whatever, and our head of media just goes, "Oh, you want a bit of a strife here? There's Abdo wants to have a word with you about your comments last night." And I thought about, like, what could he possibly be talking about? Literally every single person that spoke to me about it, other than Abdo, said it was the best thing ever. Said it was. I had old ladies come up to me and saying that was the best thing. I had grandmas, I had my mum, I had mums and dads across the land saying that it was good to see someone be themselves for once and not just a robot. I can see where Abdo came from in terms of, you know, it's a family-friendly corporation that can't step a foot over the line anymore. So I can see where he was coming from in terms of, you know, his point of view. But Gen Pop and the game really is entirely, you know, general population, lower working class game. There wouldn't be one person that would have taken an offence that I said that comment about. If I'm being honest, I'm still waiting for an apology from Andrew Abdo because he assumed that I was straight, but really, I said anyone. I said I want to go to the Northies, drink 1,000 beers and pull anything.
Yeah.
Not once did I say women, and then he said it was derogatory towards women. So
Well, that's right. You did say anyone.
yeah, I said anyone, and then a year
Did
later,
you actually talk to him?
Yeah, no, he gave me a call. Yeah. And I just, yeah, sweet, whatever.
Yeah.
I won't do it next time.
I don't think it was that bad.
No, it was sweet as, but it was just what I didn't know as well.
Way out of context.
Way out of context. What I didn't know was that weekend there was like a massive female women's rights, not women's rights, but protest in Canberra. I think there was a bit of hide the pickle in the Parliament House that week or something happened.
Okay.
So a lot of women were marching in Canberra, and I said that. So I think it was sort of a sense of bad timing and all that. But man, everyone that I spoke to about that comment was so happy that I said it. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
Was it towards the end of the season?
It was round 1.
Round 1.
I didn't get
You
a
just
media.
wanted to set the tone for the year, huh?
I didn't get one more media request the whole year. I'm pretty sure. I think that was it. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Was there more women hitting you up after that?
So
or?
many.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, but not the ones that you'd want. To be hit up by. Yeah, that was kind of anything. It was kind of anything. Yeah.
There was probably a lot outside the age bracket too.
Yeah, and a lot
also outside the age bracket
and the gender bracket.
And the gender bracket.
Yeah, it was males, females of all ages, and
Yeah.
everyone wanted to start, but
Yeah.
no good, not allowed.
Yeah. So
Christian boy.
Getting towards the end of this, but so let me ask you a question. 2024, what does your vision see of yourself? Because, obviously you're trying to do the best for the team, the culture and all that kind of stuff. What does it see for yourself and performing? I know there's so many things that come into play, like injuries and all that kind of stuff. Like I can see in a moon boot already. But what does that look like for you? How's it going to be different to, 2023? And what are you going to do differently this year to make much more of an impact?
Yeah, so what I said before, the no drink, the no assault on the lungs, I've actually got a partner in the last 6 weeks, picked up a girlfriend of mine.
Good.
So it's just going to be, that's how it's different. That's already a massive part of my life that's changed. Not going out on the weekends and trying to find some tail or some blokes.
Yeah.
Being more social with my team and caring more, and what does it look like? It looks like what I envision is a competition win. I believe that coffees equal championships, and I'm going to have to prove that this year.
I'm going to take that one. I'm going to use that
Coffees
with my
equal
team. Yeah,
championships?
I'm going to fucking do that.
Go ahead, it's all yours.
Yeah, we're going to have more coffees, Kenny.
Yeah.
We're going to bring the team along. We just had one before this.
Oh, how good.
Yeah.
What's your go-to order?
I got a double shot. He's a long black with a bit of milk. He
Nice.
likes a bit of cream.
You're a sick fuck.
Yeah. Look, it's fucking
true.
boring, eh?
What?
That's a fucking boring drink.
What, two?
That double shot espresso.
Yeah.
Needs
Usually.
a bit of tequila or a bit of
Something.
Scotch or
Some
something.
sort of Irish something. Yeah,
Fuck,
whiskey.
mate. You're right. It needs something.
Yeah, this little purple.
But you're right. Those simple things take you a long way.
They do, hugely.
They take you a long way.
And I want to implement that. I want to try. Don't get me wrong, I'm saying all this now. Talk is cheap. I got to put this into action.
Fuck, I'm going to hold you to this.
Hold me to this. So,
I'm going to say, bro, you said this, and this. Are you fucking
is it happening?
serious?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep you accountable.
Yeah, no, well, I'm telling everyone I'm going sober in the new year because I want to be held accountable,
awesome,
Mine is so, there'll be literally 3 drinks I reckon I'll have next year.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
Yeah, it's compared to what I was doing in the last few years, it's
Yeah.
nothing at all. Look, in terms of representative honours, like, fuck, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't do anything to play for the Blues. Like that'd be huge, man. That's like the last dream. That and a comp, obviously, but those two things I've always wanted to do them since I was a kid. The comp not so much. When I was a kid, all I wanted to do was play NRL. Winning a comp wasn't exactly on the forefront of my mind. Getting there was on the forefront of my mind. But Blues has always been like, I don't know if I'm good enough. I really don't. But I'm going to do my best to get the best version out of myself and see if that isn't good enough.
Well, Aaron Woods made the Blues.
Yeah, but he was the second to Dally M.
Look, Aaron Woods was
2012.
really good back then.
He was
anyway.
a gun.
He was back then. He was a gun. But look, I think what's going to go in your favour for New South Wales, they didn't do that well. They got a whole new coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got new coaching staff. So it puts you back in the game. And if you're committed to your career by, hey, I'm not going out, I'm going to be drinking coffee, this is what I'm going to put forward in my career, mate, the 2024 could probably be your best chance.
Yeah, 100% it could be. We've got the exact same squad. Like we've signed Billy Burns and a young kid, Mick Gabriel from the Bulldogs. But other than that, our squad stayed exactly the same. So that says to me that Fitzy believes in what we've got. It's just down to us actually putting the game plan together and what I said before, that self-belief.
Yeah. And, you know, the game's a lot about self-belief, right? Like if the team believes in the process and they trust each other on game day, you know, things start to change and work in your favour, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bro, man, I've had fun, man. This was fun.
I've had fun too.
It's fucking a ball. Fuck, we covered a lot of ground. I loved having a chat, and like I said to you before, when I first met you, it was so easy to chat with, and that's why I said to you, like, I think there's something in media, but I think, you know, with your personality, you can go in any direction you want. You know, you seem to me like a lot of people gravitate towards you because you're just easy to get along with. You care about your team, you care about your people. From what you told me about your mum and your brother, you know, you're a huge family man. And, man, all the respect for you. And I'm a big supporter of your 2024 season.
Thank you very much, man. Thanks for having me on, bro. It's been everything I wanted and more.
Yeah, I hope so, bro. I hope you're not fucking bullshitting.
No, it's been unreal, actually. Genuinely, mate, it's been good talking to you. And really appreciate having me on.
No,
you asked me really good questions again.
No, fuck, bro. Like, I wanted to take some photos after this.
Sweet.
And we'll have a quick tequila shot. I'm only joking. For coffee.
Sounds good, my friend.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.